I'm Donald Lipski, and I'm building this sculpture. It's called Psyche. This is a total Denver project. We use an engineer named Chuck Keys, who's here in Lakewood.
So I think one of the things that is important about the way that Donald works, he's a conceptual artist, so he'll put these things together. And so here's his model. You can actually see where he's basically made a little piece of paper and cut that out.
Right,
I mean, what's wonderful too about this photo is sort of the delicacy of his hand holding this little butterfly. That bend may have come from him just sort of putting his hand on that piece of paper and getting it, holding it in his hands and showing it, and then just going, you know, it's going to be like that. And then he takes a picture of it.
And all I'm doing is taking that photograph and developing an X and Y coordinate system and picking out various points.
This is the model that we have, and it was created from all those points. This is actually the hanging point here that we have. So it's at that 60-degree angle.
What we've seen is this simple little gesture with his hand and a little piece of paper come all the way through these. It becomes these.
Right.
The fabrication of this was done by some people called Juno Works, who are also here in Denver.
So for all of Donald's projects around the country, if I have metal work, we do it right here.
That looks pretty good, huh?
We'll come in and we'll build this on the floor, no test tubes. So we'll have this butterfly laying on the ground, built. And then I've got a pick point in the ceiling and I have two cables coming down from it. We're balancing from a single point, right? This is just held by one 5/16 inch cable. And all we'll do is slip a big thimble underneath here and hang it. Then we'll do just a little saddle rigging. So we'll take our rib, or our single point, we'll put a little clamp on there and we'll come down and we'll either lift the tail or drop the tail, or it'll come this way and it'll lift a wing and drop a wing.
Okay, let's tilt it some more.
We're trying to just go from nature. So Donald pulled this palette by analyzing a digital specimen in Photoshop. He brought it to pixels, and that'll slowly build your building blocks of color. 1,000 of those, 3,000 of these, 2,000 of this, 1,000 of that. And then we'll spend about a day and a half putting all the test tubes on.
John McEnroe, who's a sculptor here in town, he cast the plastic into all the test tubes.
I think I figured it out, and that I have to do this process something like 430 times to get through the whole batch of 10,000 test tubes. So I have these pumps here that pump the resin out of the chamber. I move on to mixing the dyes into the resin. The color we're making right now is called Scarlet Amber. Quick mix of the dye by hand, and then we mix it, fold it. It gives us a good vortex, and in fact it de-airs a little bit. When it gets de-aired, the material foams up. The air gets pulled up out of the bottom of the resin. All right, now we're heading to the vacuum chamber. All right. And what this is a vacuum pump. Close the valve, and we've created a vacuum. So we'll go from the de-airing chamber to our table here, where we pour the resin into the test tubes. And after these cure for a while, we'll come back and pour clear polyurethane in the top. We'll top them all off with clear. They'll look like this here when they're done.
I was thinking right from the beginning about something from the biological sciences, because that's a big focus of what's taught here. The idea of a butterfly came to mind. Test tubes are so basic to science. If you're a kid and you buy your first chemistry set, you're using test tubes. And if you walk into the most advanced genetics laboratory. You know, they have test tubes and... So it could happen someday, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to the dedication of Psyche, the butterfly. As long as this project is taken, I figure it spanned several migrations of the monarch. But it's finally lighted in the science buildings.
I've often thought that if I hadn't become an artist, I may have become a scientist. Scientists and artists have a tremendous amount in common. Chiefly, I think that there's a curiosity and a sense of wanting to discover new things. We have different methodologies, but similar passions. Congratulations on this new building, and thank you for letting me play a role in it.